Broadway's brightest stars and shows are right here on The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel, so let's get going. Broadway's been turned upside down by Stranger Things, The First Shadow. It's a prequel to the hit Netflix show. I sat down with the star of Stranger Things on Broadway, Tony nominee Louis McCartney. Let's talk about the character, Henry Creel. Do you have to have seen Stranger Things to be able to understand and appreciate the show?
Well, yes and no. So we're a prequel, and it's an original story taking back the idea that Henry Creel, played by Jamie Campbell-Bower in the TV show, he is an enigmatic sociopath, psychopath who likes to kill, and he's very defined by his actions. And you want to be him, you want him to charm you. You know, you don't. He's a very confusing character. And then here we're giving a bit of paint to that. You're saying why is he like that? And it's Henry Creel as a good kid. And basically, you don't need to see it, one, because it's a prequel, but also because we follow a narrative structure that is very easy to understand, and it's very human, and it's very Greek. You know, you'll have a Hamlet archetype, you'll have the protagonist, Henry Creel, you have the love interest, you have the mother, you have Dr. Brenner, who's this terrible, lovely antagonist played by Alex Bro. Everybody's doing a wonderful job, and it does unlock things for season 5. I know you might think I'm lying when I say that, but I'm not. There is lore in this.
I love that.
And it's a big lot of fun, and I think everybody should come see it because it's a blast.
Did you know what you were auditioning for when you went to audition? Talk through your audition process.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. So I got the email, and it was untitled Netflix play directed by Stephen Daldry. That was for a character called George. And we did one scene which was Henry kind of losing it a little, and then one scene where he was talking with Patty. So it's basically the good and the bad, and it's the dichotomy of his character. They were saying, can you play cute and then can you play evil? I did that. I didn't hear anything for 6 months. I got recalled for a different character. Something happened. Then I got recalled for Henry, and then recalled for Henry, and so on and so on and so on. We got it. And then from there, it was just a blur, man.
Did you know that you wanted to always do theater? That was always the goal? What did you come into all this with?
Yeah, I've been blessed to get to know theater. I didn't know what theater was before auditioning for Stranger Things. I'm trained in film and TV. I went to a university primarily for screen acting, and that was what I thought was my life was going to be. I thought that was my career, and it's what I made my choice on, and I gambled all my chips on it. And then this came along, and it was sort of like theater. You know, what's that? You know, what do I do there? What's different? What do I got to do with my energy? You know, because you do screen acting, it's all kind of up here. It's the only place the audience is looking. But then working with Stephen Daldry and Justin Martin, I learned, you know, if a character walks downstage, it means they're thinking. You know, stuff that you can't portray on screen, you do with your face. You can't do minuscule, but also you can't be fake. You can't be like, hey, I'm thinking. You got to be like,
this is me thinking.
It's a half wager of going, I know you guys are there watching me, and I'm acting, and I want you to know what's happening in the story, or else no one's gonna have a good night.
Yeah.
But then also, I need to have my own experience, and you need to respect that, and then we can all get let in. And it's learning and understanding what happens when the night starts and the train goes and you can't stop it. I think that's a funny thought.
What is it like every night? I mean, the energy that you put out there every night is immense, right? Can you talk a little bit about that process and your voice?
It is a lot of physical activity, but I love it. I did a bit of gymnastics when I was younger. I did like dancing, and I'm like double jointed in some places. So I'm lucky that my body has kind of been knowing how to move like this. But in London, it took like 6 months before I could properly do it. We had the blueprints for it. Mm-hmm. We knew what we wanted. We had this like idea that he was a young kid and then boom, monster. And once we got that, it became very two-tone, and we started to develop a language in the movement so the audience could understand what was actually happening and how that would feel. Not just like, oh, he's possessed or he's going through a lot right now. And yeah, the voice was another thing that I was worried about, and it took a lot of time because we had to develop this childlike innocence in the American accent and then Vecna. And we have the program that adds bass and like violence to the voice, like the gravelly thing that makes it seem like that. But if you speak normally, you sound like a robot. So we do things where you talk like this, and you drop your voice. And then I also do like a gravelly thing, but that just like happens on stage. I can't
Right.
do it
Right.
now. It'll be too loud.
I understand.
You know.
Would it be too loud?
Yeah. It's
Now you've made me curious.
'cause I'm shouting in a healthy way.
Okay.
You know. That was another thing, was doing it healthily.
How does your family feel about everything? Have they been here to see you and excited?
Yeah, they've come to England, not New York yet. They're both very busy. They loved it. The main thing my dad said, what he was proud of, was that he said I'd like taken the voice and like made it a part of the character, which is another thing I learned, that I wasn't just like doing an accent. I wasn't just like, I'm an American and I'm doing an accent. You know, it's like.
Is that how we sound?
No, but that's like, it's a gimmicky acting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can tell that's not my real voice.
It's a character of American.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's putting on an accent. And then the illusion's gone and you guys are just, every time I step on stage, it's like, oh, here's the actor now. What's he going to say his lines? You know, it's not a real person going through something.
That's great.
So that's what we developed on, and he was like, I noticed that. And I was like, really? I was like, I didn't even think about it before.
That's fascinating, but that gives the emotional connection. That's why people they get entrenched into the story instead of distracted.
Yeah.
Right?
Real kid, real problems, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So if you can't find me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly.
Here's a cool event that just happened in Times Square. It's the Founded by Broadway concert. The event, celebrating the past, present, and future of Broadway, featured performances from some of the biggest shows and stars. Founded by Broadway is part of New York's year-long celebration, commemorating the city's 400th anniversary.
We're one of a kind, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're free to take our crowning glory for 5 more minutes. We're 6. Whoa, whoa, we're 6.
We're still drinking the potion for the new musical comedy Death Becomes Her, a fight between best frenemies for eternal life. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Okay, what made you see Death Becomes Her and think, this has to sing, and how many times did you see it before you said it out loud?
That's a very good question.
It does start with a musical number.
Yes.
True.
Yeah. When it was suggested, it was an immediate, like, oh, absolutely, this is a movie that sings and would lend itself perfectly to a musical. I was obsessed with the movie forever. I watched it in college on rotation, on Halloween and every other day. But you came to it later.
I came to it later. It was always that thing that was like on in the middle, and I was like, I need to start this from the beginning. But I've always loved Zemeckis and Silvestri, who did the original score, and it's just so over the top. It's all, the movie's already larger than life. It's got love, death, and betrayal, and magic, and all the
Very
things
operatic.
that,
And
yeah.
It's a really fun game. It's something I love about a movie musical adaptation. Like, I love sitting there with a notepad, watching a movie and going like, that moment could sing. That moment, that makes sense. They break out into song. It becomes like an assignment.
And how do we do something without copying it or just
Right,
putting it
right.
on the
Making it your
stage? How do
own.
we really like interpret it? Like, yes, Death Becomes Her is based on the myth of Ernest, Helen, Madeline, and Viola. And that's the movie interpretation of that myth. And now
So
we're going
it's been
to
handed down through the ages.
Yeah,
Kind of,
generations
yeah.
upon generations.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, The Walking Undead. Did you see her when she saw us? I could feast on that for days. She was jealous, green with envy when I said my fiancé.
You have comic geniuses. You've got Megan Hilty, Jennifer Simard, and Christopher Sieber.
Yes.
So tell me what they brought to it that maybe you didn't see before they took on these roles.
when you're writing it without the actors, you're just like designing an outfit on a mannequin. You know what I mean? And you might have an idea of what you want it to look like and how it's gonna look, but then you have someone who's like, this is uncomfortable. This feels a little weird. You know what actually feels great on me and my voice? This type of comedy, this type of musical range, you know? So once we actually had the model to build off of, I mean, it just, we wrote so much better.
When we're adjusting things for once Megan joined us, like we would watch YouTube videos, we would watch clips of her, you know, singing, they just keep moving the line, or so, you know, these things where like when she hits that rich point in her belt, and then we go, why would we not right towards that. And musically, like Michelle, we have Michelle Williams.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
Hello.
Destiny's Child. Her on a bridge when she flies, like the Survivor Bridge. We take that exact tone and those things and you go, let's find a way to do our, version of whatever can like make her stand out. We knew we wanted certain things and we had certain ideas of how a moment might play. And then you have like Jennifer Simard coming in and making a choice that's smaller and more delicate and a little stranger. And then you go, oh my God, I would not have thought of that.
Well, they bring surprises. If we're writing it for 2 or 3 years, we're not surprised by anything because we know it backwards and forwards.
Right.
But it's suddenly fresh again. Tools check, booze check. Now go upstairs and reattach that neck. Then off you go, and no one will know that the women are dead, but they're alive.
So for people who maybe haven't seen the show yet, what appeals to you about the material and how do you describe it?
It's kind of unapologetic. It's just a
big.
fun, funny night.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. Like
Yeah.
we love the feeling of like you strap in, you go on the ride, and it's just wow, like it just hits you, and it's so rich and stimulating and grand. And I think it reminds us of it's like a tribute to the old classic big musical comedy. I love the big voices. It's not trying to be put in any kind of box. It's a little bit of everything. It's all in the past, I won't dwell in, 'cause everything's coming up.
Julia Madison, ladies and gentlemen.
What fun!
Yeah.
The Book of Mormon is one of the longest-running Broadway musicals of all time, more than 5,000 performances and counting. And after all these years, the 9-time Tony winner is just as hilarious as ever. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Cody, so good to see you. You're on Broadway in Book of
Sometimes,
Mormon.
yeah.
Still, that is a sentence I could have said for many years over my career.
Yes.
It's still an actuality. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. They've taken me all over the world. I've seen a lot of places. It's been wonderful. And now I have a dog and a mortgage, so it's great.
So tell me how that whole journey started.
Ooh.
When did you first see the Book of Mormon?
Well, my first exposure to the Book of Mormon was the infamous Hasadika Ibawai song being played from my friend's radio in his car in South Dakota.
You gotta hear this.
And I went, I don't like that. And then I moved to the city and I saw it in 2012, May of 2012.
Okay.
We did a college showcases in New York City and I saw the show. And then I auditioned for the show in November of 2012 and I've been with it ever since.
But when you saw it, you were like, I gotta play that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's never gonna happen again that there was a part that was written and it was like a lightning bolt was like, that's for you. I'm fully aware that it's never gonna be this good ever again. Hence why 10 years later,
It's like someone wrote you a dream role without you realizing. They did it all for you.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
all happened for you.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what's your dream role? And I'm like, I'm doing it.
Now what?
Yeah, no. It's all downhill from here.
Your laugh is incredible.
It's a lot.
It's iconic. It's the best laugh on Broadway.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, it's loud. My dad always used to say, you don't look for Cody, you listen for him.
So you had this when you were like this when you were a little kid? You
Oh,
had
yeah.
that laugh?
Yeah, it's on every report card growing up. Your son is loud, like we know. Like it's a been a thing for a while.
I need to hear all about your childhood. I'm going to really dig into this.
The traumas, the tribulations.
Well, just tell me, like, where did you come from?
I was born and raised in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to
Nice.
a teacher mother and a pastor father.
Wow.
It was a wonderful childhood. South Dakota is a
religious
magical place.
childhood.
Yeah,
Dad's a
very.
pastor.
But he's seen the show. I think he's on number 38 now. So
Wow.
yeah, he's pretty on board with that. He always tells, because he sends his congregation to go see it. He's always like, just as long as you come back after. And like, I think he needs to bless some people after the show. But
Oh, I see. He has to save them after they see the book.
I still remember I was auditioning for the show and I sent it to my mom, being like, Mom, I have an audition for the show. And she goes, okay, we won't tell your dad. Which tells me that she had zero confidence that I was actually going to get the job. And then, the second conversation was like, Mom, I think I got the job. And she said, okay, well, ease your father into this. And she didn't play some of the numbers for him until he saw it. So
he actually had to experience some of
he experienced it in the best way.
the more
Just
shocking
going
moments.
in blind, and then he was like, wow,
But it's also a show with a beautiful message.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's, hooked him and has him keep coming back. It's a beautiful message of unity, but like the journey getting there, it's a bit wacky.
So what was that first audition like for the Book of Mormon? Did you nail it?
No, I didn't. I remember I walked in and I dropped all my sides on the floor, and I felt like an absolute idiot.
Were you nervous?
Yes, then I had this, what I thought was like the drip, but it wasn't. It was like this teal Argyle sweater vest with a teal bow tie. Like, I thought I was cool. And then I remember they're like, you got a call back, but never wear that again.
They actually commented on
That
it.
was like, there was no criticism about what I was doing in the room. It was just like do not wear that outfit. And then I showed up in a t-shirt and jeans the next time, and they're like, oh, that's great. It's a weird. I don't remember what I did in the room because it was all fear. And I think I've carried that with me to this day.
It takes a whole lot of people to keep a Broadway show running, from the stars on stage to the orchestra in the pit and all the people behind the scenes. Our man Perry is on the town.
Thanks, Tamsin. Broadway magic is all around us, and combining that with Disney magic, you're in for a phenomenal evening. Let's head inside the Minskoff to meet one of the first faces that greets you when you come to see The Lion King. Hello!
Hi, welcome!
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Great, I'm so excited. We are here with Lee Eron, one of the managers of the magic here at the Minskoff. Do you mind showing me upstairs? I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. Come on up.
So here we are right up the main escalator at the Minskoff, and this is it. This is your home.
This
home,
is it.
Home
Yep.
away from home.
Yep.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you could be selling anything, literally anything here in the city, and you're selling Disney magic. What is that like?
It's wonderful. It's truly a dream come true. I really never thought that I would be here doing that. It's not what I came to the city for, but it's everything that I love about the city, and it's everything that I love about Broadway and Disney, just all coming together in one.
What's your day-to-day here?
So it is a lot, but it's a lot of fun too. I usually get in about 2 to 3 hours beforehand, just doing whatever we might need to do to set up. And then about an hour before showtime, the doors open, so the guests come in, they come up. We get to greet them, interact with them, see what they're all about, why they're excited to be here, show all of our wonderful stuff and share that with them. We have 6 locations in the building, so I'm at one of those locations, or running around helping at another location. And then while the show's going on, we're doing all kinds of things, whether we're restocking, refolding, just reporting. And then at the end of the show, we're just getting ready for the next one, whether it's a matinee and we're leading into an evening show, or just getting ready for the next day. So every day is different, every day is busy, so we love it though.
Now, a show like this, it's been running for quite some time, but the people who are coming to see it, most of them for the first time, what is it like interacting with those people, with their excitement as they're coming to see The Lion King?
That is one of our favorite things. And The Lion King especially, it's such a special show, and everyone who comes here, they have a reason to be here. Some of them have waited years, and they've saved up, or they just haven't had the time, and they've finally made the time. Or maybe it's their very first show. They're a high school student or something, and they're coming here, and they're so excited. And when we see them, we get to talk to them. We get to share in that, and we get to be just as excited with them to have that experience. So yeah, it's been 26 years this November, actually.
Wow.
So we've been doing 26 years of sharing in that magic.
One thing I love about Disney shows is they always have phenomenally creative and wonderful representations of their show. So do you have any of your favorite items you want to show me?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we come take a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
So one of the things that I find the most fun about our merchandise is seeing the guests' reaction and what they're kind of gravitating towards. So some things that stand out for sure are our baby Simba plush. Kids will run to this. They see it and that is what they want. They recognize him from the stage. It's exactly what Rafiki holds up.
Yeah,
so
it looks like the puppet.
And they love him.
Just want to hold up, Krista's head.
Yes, exactly. Then we have an ornament. So the baby Simba ornament is actually an exact replica of the puppet from stage.
Wow.
So it's like you're taking home a little piece of the magic, a little prop,
Exactly.
That's something very special that we have.
So much Disney magic and Broadway magic right here. So I gotta ask, you're right here in the middle of it. What does Broadway mean to you?
So Broadway, it's such a wonderful place. It's full of talented people, and we're just so lucky to be here. And kind of right in line with Disney, it's just the feeling of the hopes, the dreams coming to life, and just everyone coming together. It's just a beautiful thing.
Aladdin is pure Broadway magic at the New Amsterdam Theater, now for more than a decade. Here's an exclusive musical performance from the Broadway.com studio.
Suitors talk of love, but it's an act merely meant to throw me. How can someone love me when in fact they don't know me? They want my royal treasure. When all is said and done, it's time for a desperate measure. So I wonder, why shouldn't I fly so far from here? I know the girl I might become here, sad and confined and always lost.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of all these interviews, head over to Broadway.com. And be sure to check out The Broadway Show Uncut, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and this is The Broadway Show.